Hi, Gemini. This is your homework family reading for September. Let me hit the bell. Yeah, I know. We're dealing with Gemini. Okay. Thank you. I don't know if you guys are starting to realize, because if you've been following me and you notice the bell has to do with the energy that's coming in and clearing it to a higher energy so that we can move forward. So sometimes when I start it, and if you're picking up on that, you're seeing the energy actually coming in the bell form as we shift it into let me move it up and figure out what we need to tell you for the month. Before I get into all of that, though, this is for the month of September. It is not for the first half and then the second half. I'm being told by Spirit I'm going to start doing 2 videos a month starting in October. But right now I'm just slamming it all into September so that I got it done and out of the way so I can start working towards October. The reason why is Spirit's going to have me start doing 2 readings. One's going to be just tarot. One's going to be just astrology. And I'll give you a little bit of the Spirit guidance both ways. But I guess it's just making the videos shorter and just more to the point for what people want. And if they want the tarot, they can go to the tarot. If they want the astrology, they can go to the astrology. However, with that being said, this one has all of it. I'm going to try to slam it in as fast as possible because I got a brand new phone and I'm still trying to learn how it all works. And it seems like my phone shuts off if I go too long, and I haven't figured out what that time frame is just yet. So I'm working on that. So I'm hoping to make 1 video with it all. Spirit is saying right off the bat, some of you, somebody I'm channeling, or a few somebody's I'm channeling right off the bat. I am supposed to be telling you that if you're born with Mercury in retrograde, like Gemini, if you're born with it in your sign, in Gemini, in retrograde, you need to understand that that twin energy and the communication of that twin energy automatically goes against you until you flip that over. Meaning, anytime somebody's born with Mercury in retrograde, they tend to over communicate to themselves all the time. And they tend to do it in a beating up fashion. Like they beat themselves up. And this is a lot of the energy of what I'm channeling, at least for who I'm supposed to be channeling. But Spirit said directly, I don't know who it's for or how many who it's for, but I'm supposed to be stating, if you're born with Mercury in retrograde in Gemini, it's definitely something you need to work on and acknowledge, because the twins see both sides of everything. So you're double down beating up on yourself if you're born in Mercury retrograde. And you need to learn to stop doing that shit to yourself, is what Spirit is saying. Because you're too much in your feelings. And it's keeping you from finding your courage and your tranquility in order to move forward in positive ways. The feelings aren't being able to grow in positive healing ways because you beat up on yourself, is what they're saying. There is, for some of you, there is some pride and blame and fear and grief. Pride, blame, fear, grief, sorrow, and shame. It could be within relationships, but I really feel that it's mainly with yourself. Like you're beating up on yourself. But they are saying some of this is going to be dealing with the heart chakra and up. I definitely get the heart and the throat chakra, but the communication that is coming in may be having some problems with having a healthy, opened heart, third chakra or crown chakra, getting into the self-knowing, awareness, your spiritual energy, like your spiritual self, your own power, coming into your personal imagination of how you see things, you visualize things, and your wisdom, keeping you from being able to find calm and peace because of the way you've been beating up on yourself, or the misunderstanding of the communication with the self, is what I'm getting. And they put me right back to the Mercury retrograde. There's something else here. I gotta flip my notes for a minute. Something is definitely going on in your Pisces energy, and definitely between your Sun and your Jupiter. See, that's what Unless you've seen me do a reading in person, you don't understand. I have to do, it's like I do palmistry, but without a palm. I don't know. It's just the way that the spirit works with me. They're telling me when I hit the astrology to check out your Pisces energy. There's something going on with the material order and what you know, yeah, with the material idea of things. And this is within the sun and the Jupiter energy. So this is an abundance within a magnification of this energy. But it's definitely coming in from the heart and the throat chakra the most. But I'm feeling like it's a communication breakdown. Pisces energy can be very magically confusing. Okay, because Pisces is the universal 12th house on a normal basis, and it speaks to you of your water energy, but it also is healing, and it's the hidden secrets that need to come up for the healing to take place. So it's mystery of the magic, but it's also where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality, where nostalgia and fantasy meet. And which side are you playing off of? And I'm definitely getting abundance in whatever you're feeding that right now. So some of you are having just overwhelmed with sadness that you can't figure out because of a heartbreak situation. And it may be a relationship, it may be just something that you're working through. But they're saying it has more to do with your self-expression. So I think this is coming into a new level of the twins understanding something about what's changing within yourself. Because, you guys are the twins. Yeah, they're saying it has to do with your subconscious energy. So this is something about your hidden self, your hidden depths, your self-deceptions that is rising and telling you what you need to realize, acknowledge, change, and bring healing to. Anything else? It is causing problems within the community and your goals and ambitions. Maybe you're not believing in your goals and ambitions. Maybe you're not going after them. Maybe you're not believing in the people who are in the community that are actually willing to help you. Or maybe you're putting help, you're asking for help on those goals, dreams, on people who, Spirit says some of it is on people who aren't responsible enough to be helpful to you. They're saying pay attention. You can't pay attention to your subconscious, but they're asking you to try to connect with it when it starts showing itself. Because the subconscious is what's in the back of the head, which you don't really acknowledge. But they're saying these acknowledgments are trying to show themselves. So as you acknowledge what they're showing themselves, then you're able to actually work through that. And you're definitely going to see it with certain people in your life, memberships, groups, community, friends, whether they're there for you or not. And it's going to be showing itself in that way. Coming from you expressing your true hidden self is what Spirit says. Okay, now with that being said, you have the full moon on the 14th. Hold on, before I get there. Up until, I've been saying from the end of August until September 7th. I think it is. September 7th, we have Othello written in the astrology, which is sacred space. It's asking you to get right with your sacred space. And help yourself understand what is sacred to you so that you can get right with it, obviously. But the thing is all month long, even after Othello fades, it's coming in a challenge, helping you to understand what that challenge is so that you can find the sacred space by acknowledging where it's not. There is a T-square all month long that's still going to stay there. It's just part of Othello. When the other parts that make it sacred disappear, the T-square is still going to be there. And this is taking place in your Pisces energy. That explains why they were pointing that out to me. And in Virgo and in Sagittarius. Now for you, this is... It's your 4th house, your 7th house, and your 10th house. Has everything to do with the community, the relationships, and your inner emotional security. So there's something going on here that you are not stepping up to the plate about. You are not living your truth about. You are not expressing your truth about. There's something that's questioning that inner emotional security, and it has to do with that outer community, with the relationships in that outer community. And are they serving you well or not? And is it keeping you from that inner emotional security, which is talking to you about the roots of yourself, the true self. It also speaks to you of your upbringing, I mean. It speaks to you of where you came from and where you will return. The soul. The soul can't disappear. You may not acknowledge you're listening to it or it's part of you because you're getting in the three-dimensional world and get sidetracked, but it's still there. It is part of all of what you will always be if you connect to it. It will bring you back to that karmic lessons to get the inner emotional security that you seek within yourself, and then, bring a reincarnation into that very energy, asking you to pay attention to that inner emotional security, and where is it found, and how much are you tapping into it within the relationships and the outer community. Relationships are anything you care about, from friends to foes. Okay, your family, your friends, your children, your parents, but it's also your work environment. It's also your honor, your prestige. It's is where we have relationships. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with. So are the relationships honoring that inner emotional security? Are they there for you? Are they really letting you be you? Are you being able to tap into that with these people? And if not, maybe it's because they're not people that need to be in your life. And if it's a working environment, nobody says you have to hang out with those people. It's that simple. Now, like I said, that energy is there all month long, but you're going to have the full moon, which is going to take place in Pisces and Aries on the 14th. Again, this is your 10th and your 11th house. This is coming in to the honor, the prestige, your financial career, your financial situation, financial stability, but the responsibilities of that outer community. And they're saying for some of you, it's definitely financial success or financial foundation. But this is the responsibilities. Are all areas holding up their end of the deal, including yourselves? And then coming into the community, your friends, your hopes, your wishes, your goals, your dreams, are they backing up that inner emotional security again? Because that's going to be directing what that full moon energy is going to be. Plus, that's the 12th house and the first house. So it's an end of a cycle. It's the beginning of a new one. It may be somebody's getting a raise, and maybe somebody's getting fired, and maybe somebody's, getting a new job. This is dealing with the community. So it could be shifting of that community in that foundation. In that financial foundation. But I am being told for some of you, this is also coming into a new level of your religion, your spiritual energy at this time. So for some of you, it's definitely coming into that psychic world, that moral, spiritual urges, your higher learning, higher education, and understanding where in religion you shift into a new way of thinking now, is what some of them are saying, is what Spirit's saying to me as well. But that's a part of it. Now, on the 14th, also, you have that full moon, so things rise. It's time to let go of them, release, surrender, and let go. But on the 14th, also, you have Mercury moving into Venus, which is in Libra for you directly. That's the 5th house, asking you to get right with your pursuit of pleasure, your creativity, your children, your lovers, your personal interests, your sports, your hobbies, your habits, dating, sex. What things make you happy? What things fill your desire so that you find happiness in life? And you've got Venus and Mercury moving into your communication, is moving into this house, trying to bring extra energy to it. And you're going to have Ura here as well. And don't forget, in Libra, we also have the collective consciousness, which is Haumea in there right now. So this is asking you, what do you desire? What do you desire? Would you really get on board with what you desire? Figure out what it is, what's important to you, what brings you that happiness, and then project that back into that inner emotional security, into your truth, and then project that back into, that outer community. And how is that going to support what you want to create. This is the energies that are coming in. On the 18th, you have Saturn, which is going direct. Now, up until the 18th, like I said, we're getting on board with that sacred space and trying to come to new levels of understanding it. But until the 18th, Saturn is kind of going like this, and right behind it is Pluto going like this, both of them. Because Pluto is going to go direct in October 3rd. And that's death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration, which means reincarnation in the universal 12th house, not 12th house, universal 10th house of Capricorn, saying we want to set a new foundation for this reincarnation. So Jupiter in retrograde is in overdrive, and it's going, would you fucking figure out what it is that we want to set the foundation on? We need to figure that foundation out so that we can plant it and set it and make it firm and, not something that's hollowing and fall in. Saturn is going to go direct first. So it's asking you, that's why I said you're feeling this energy. It's giving you that, seriously, figure it out. I need to know what the rules, the walls, the boundaries, the limitations, the withholdings. I need to understand all of this so I can create your sacred space. So I can help you get to your pursuit of pleasure. I can help you find that inner emotional security. But you got to tell me what I'm doing with this so that when I go direct, I can flip it and actually start setting that foundation. And when Pluto comes in the month after, it will start concreting it. But it's very important for you to start realizing the right people, places, and things that need to be in your life. And are they supporting that for you right now? Because they're saying it has everything to do with, are you using the proper communication and bringing it out of you? And for some of you, that's because you're having an issue. Like I said, they're giving me the idea of Mercury in retrograde. So some of you are beating up on yourself with blame, sorrow, shame, fear, and I think it's more of you beating up on yourself. What is it? Blame, fear, pride, shame, grief, secrets, sorrow that you're not bringing up. But I feel more or less, a lot of you feel like you're having lack of support in the direction you're trying to set, or you can't understand the direction you're trying to set. But it's time to try to get on board with figuring that out and realize who first has to support you is you. On the 18th, Saturn goes direct. Now, for you directly, this is speaking about 8th house. That's why this all makes sense. Is in the 8th house. This is realizing what the rules are in these relationships that you are creating or that you have. Are the rules fair? Are the joint efforts, joint finances, joint resources, all fair? Is it more this person doing it, or is it all you? Or, is the rules in the relationships fair? Because this has to do with not taking on other people's jobs, other people's responsibilities. You only can be responsible for you. And if you're taking on other people's responsibilities, then you're going to feel, a lack of support because you're doing their fucking job for them. Okay, this is about balancing the relationship in all levels of what relationships are to you, so that it can find a new form of healing that will transform your life in a positive way to move you forward. That is pretty much what's going to be happening when Saturn goes direct. You've probably been feeling the lack of these things because Saturn's trying to point out where these wrong people are in your life up until the 18th, because it's only been talking to you. It has been in retrograde. On the 23rd, you have the sun, which is going into Libra, which we already discussed it's your 5th house. So it's coming back into finding more of those pursuits of pleasure, finding out what makes you happy, getting on board with that fire. And I keep being given fire and frustration. There's something about what you're wanting to do, but you don't feel that you're capable of it, or you don't believe in yourself to do it. You're having frustration because there's something within that fire of yourself that's not coming out, not coming forward. And so this is talking, with all this energy coming into Libra, it's going to be forcing you to kind of figure it out and bring it up out of you. Plus you have the new moon that's taking place in Libra on the 28th. So you're going to go full circle from, the full moon in Pisces and Aries, which is a universal 12th and 1st house. But for you, it's your Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's your 10th and 11th house. All of this is talking to your outer community, babes. All of this is talking to your outer community and your relationships. And are you expressing yourself and figuring out who yourself is and what it is that you need to figure out to bring pleasure to you, happiness to you, so that you can move forward? Because if you're not figuring out what's going to make you happy and find that inner emotional security to step into your full power, to step into yourself and have the voice that you need to have, then you're not going to be able to pull yourself full circle into a brand new beginning come the end of the month. It seems like the energy is trying to tell you that a lot of this has to do with, your rules, your walls, your boundaries, and the proper relationships. You're getting Saturn. This is my own personal deck I created, talking to you about structure, rules, walls, boundaries, your inner emotional authority, not security. This is speaking to you in this deck of taking your inner emotional authority and believing in yourself. This is also a disciplined approach. Patience, endurance, and responsibilities is what's showing up for you. So this is definitely about a structure change. 6th house, something within those daily routines. Is those daily routines serving you? And remember, I always say the daily routines also speak to us, not just of, our routines like eating and dieting and, cleaning ourselves, taking a shower and all of that. But it's also our routines have to do with our daily, everyday, mundane tasks. They have to do with what we consume. And are we consuming the energy that's healthy for us? That has to do with people, places, and things. So, are these energies supporting that happiness? The cards are bringing you right back to the same thing astrology is saying. This is creativity and expression. It is your own personal interests, your own pursuit of pleasure, lovers, dating, romance, and finding enjoyment in life. If you're not finding that enjoyment in life, it's because you're not speaking up. It's because you're not letting that communication come out. You're beating yourself up on the inside and not actually communicating it. And if you're keeping it to yourself, then how can anybody know what you're saying, what you want? Gemini. This is what I was saying. They were saying you were getting Sun and Jupiter in abundance. Earth in this deck that I created is about abundance. It is finding the solid foundation. Nurturing what it is that you want. Are you nurturing it? Because you're bringing abundance to you in areas that you may not be wanting to if you are not nurturing it and speaking up. It's wa, but it's vav in Hebrew. This is the connection of the creative power itself and the reliability of it. It is adding the structure or the hook. This is also the star card in the other cards. When you want to hook something, you want to bring something home. Say you're going fishing. You go bring something home. I don't even know. I'm just talking shit. But when you're throwing out your line to go fishing, it's not like you're tossing that line out there going, I want the smallest fish in the sea. No, you want the best thing you can get. Duh. So when you're hooking, you're going after the best thing you can. What the hell are you hooking? Are you going after the hook? Are you going after the prize? Are you going after what you want? Or are you just hooking with the fuck ever you can get? Because you're getting abundance of it. This has to do with where you create your reality. You shape it by understanding to speak your truths. Set the rules, walls, and boundaries. Show them who and what you are, and that you have the authority in your own life to be the authority of your own life. And then change the routines and create what you want. It's up to you, is what Spirit is saying. Anything else here? Right back to what the astrology said, the 8th house. This has to do with the rules within these relationships. Are you setting the proper rules within these relationships? Or are you allowing everybody else to set the rules for you and you're just going with what they say you need to do? This is your life, not theirs. And it's time for you to speak up and do that. All right, what else? My Egyptian deck is talking. They said stop letting people push you back or push you around or push you down, is what I was just being told. I just scared the shit out of my poor baby kitty. Awaken and a resurrection. This is the sarcophagus. This is asking you to wake up and stand up and be the judgment in your own life. Gemini. The Four of Coins, which would be Four of Pentacles. This is speaking of originality. This is finding out who you are, bringing bringing the money, the receptive money. Oh, sorry, not receptive. Money received through that partner. What are you? Okay, this may not be money, but it may be money because they were saying financial. But this is saying, you know, what's going on with that financial situation and the partners that you are dealing with in that outer community. And if it isn't financial, what are you bringing in a tangible way within these relationships is what they're asking you to review. What are you bringing in a tangible way that supports your life? Because then I am being given, it's called the Youth of Cups. Go after what you love. Love and affection. Go after what you love. What you love and where your heart desires. What makes your heart thrive. Because that is what's going to take you where you need to go by trusting in yourself. Invention and discovery of self. This is enthusiasm is what they're asking you. It is the 10 of Scepters, which would be the 10 of Wands. And there's a lion here asking you to go after the lion heart, the Leo energy. It could be a Leo of significance, but it could be also just simply asking you to get on board. Leo rules that universal 5th house too. So this is asking you to get on board with that not inner emotional security, with what brings you joy. What allows the lion inside to roar and enjoy his life. You got water on the board too. So water signs. And you've got earth signs on the board as well. What else? Let me hit one last card for Gemini. Regeneration and temperance. This is the temperance card for this deck. This is take some time, go inward, step away, figure out what it is you want so you can communicate the truth. For me, temperance also speaks to us of the revolution. It is where the fire meets the water. And if you put too much on one or too much on the other, the water can put out the fire. If you put too much the other way, the fire will turn the water into steam. So you need to balance it. Find balance. Find what you're after. This is ideas that create the morals themselves. This is perpetual movement. This is the alchemist. This is speaking to you of science and nature as well. This card does. This is finding the balance, finding the ability to create, trusting in the ability to create what you want. You've got to stop beating yourself up or communicating poorly to yourself so you start communicating properly, outwardly. No. It's one of you three. Nope. All right, maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Every once in a while they go moving on me all of a sudden and I'm like, what's up? Yeah, what was I saying more or less? You've got the youth of swords. It's what's standing in your way. It's what's stopping you. It's enmity. It's hostile, strife, sickness, conflict within the friction of the opposite, the friction of the opposition. Stop thinking other people can do what you can't, or that other people are better than you, or that you don't have the power to do what you can do, because you have the power. The question is, will you claim it? I love you. Bye, guys.